Hello, my name is Nicholl, and thank you so much for taking the time out to listen. Today, I titled this message, Gift Shaming. Now, I have another message that talks about gifts, but I'm being a little bit more detailed in what gift shaming, according to some experiences that I've had, in addition to observing others. What exactly is gift shaming? So, let us just imagine a scenario in our minds. There is an individual who is receiving a gift, and what happens is when they open it, they find that it is something that is very disturbing, shocking, or even insulting. Okay? And the individual who gives them the gift laughs, and everybody in the room laughs, and it may even be something that might be connected to a private matter. But the gift shaming takes place, and it is a power and control tactic. It is typically done by someone who doesn't really like you, doesn't really care for you much. And in some cases, they might like and care about you, but they want the attention for themselves. So they have a way of doing something so that everybody can look over at them and they can get some type of adoration or whatever it is that they're seeking, okay, from the audience. So this gift shaming, they make sure that the gift is available in plain view so that everyone can see you open it. They make sure that it is either wrapped with a lot of paper, or they make sure that it has boxes within boxes, or it might be a bit difficult to open. And then finally, after you've gone through all of the struggle to get it open, it ends up being something that is very distasteful, disrespectful, not thought out very much in terms of being a quality gift. Instead, there was some thinking involved, but it was to insult you. It was to make you feel bad. And then, of course, they might come along with some other gift, because they don't want the audience to think that they're just such a bad person. But then again, they may not. They may not even care what anyone thinks. They just want to send a message directly to you that I don't care for you, I don't like you, or this audience is more important to me than your feelings. Okay? When you recognize that a person is like this, and they may say, oh, it's just a prank, it's no big deal, come on. When you recognize a person is like this, the best thing to do is just to advise them, whether in front of everyone, since they like to put on a big scene, or behind closed doors where no one's around, and simply tell them, don't bother getting me another gift in this lifetime. I see what you're about. What are you talking about? Oh, you see, you can't take a joke and all that. No, I know exactly what this is about. Like I said, don't bother buying me a gift. And of course, the person's going to go and talk to someone and say, she had the nerve to approach me and tell me that I shouldn't have gotten her this, that, and the other. And you see, I can't believe this, how these people are. They're just so ungrateful. I mean, they're going to make this big deal about nothing with someone hoping that they're going to get some type of support. But if the person who they're talking to, if they have even a little bit of decency, they're going to say, you should have never done it to begin with. That wasn't appropriate, or that wasn't something that you would have even accepted. So she has every right to feel that way, or he has every right. Okay. Hopefully, the person who they go ranting to about what you said will be somebody who will speak up for you. But if not, well, you know where you stand with that person too. There's a lot said in a gift, especially when you are just starting out dating someone. I can tell you from personal experience that I pretty much knew where I stood with an individual who for years I received some very subpar, very inexpensive and thoughtless gifts. Okay. Someone who was close to me and someone who didn't think too much about the things that I really needed, things that were quality, things that they didn't want to shell out any money for. Okay. You don't get involved with someone if you feel like you are ill-equipped to handle any needs or responsibilities or to help them out. Instead, you build up your monies and you do what you can to make sure that your responsibilities are taken care of. Then this way, when somebody comes along, you don't feel bad. You don't feel like I'm giving my last money. I don't have much. This person's taken from me and all that. This is why we are to make sure that we take care of our personal finances, responsibilities, and so forth before getting involved with another person. Okay. If you are in a relationship or coming up out of a relationship and you know you don't have much to give, then it would make sense to speak up and say that. And then that person can make necessary arrangements to be sure that they get their needs met. Because one of the worst things is that a person doesn't have much money to begin with. They have their own needs. They put their needs aside to meet yours. And then it turns out that something comes along that's even more pressing, and they realize that you're not making any sacrifices for them. You're not coming up with any types of gifts for them. And now they're left with all this stuff that they've got to do. Not only did I put something aside in order to buy for you, but now I've got a new bill coming in, and then I can't even get a card. I can't even get something that is meaningful to me. Okay. So in some relationships, this is why the couples will tell one another, I'm sorry, I don't have the money for that. I'm sorry, we won't be able to celebrate the holidays this year. Let's agree that we're not going to buy any gifts. Okay. And sometimes one of the partners will say something like, oh, I just wanted to get this for you, even though the agreement was, no, we're not buying one another gifts. Okay. And what it does is, for some people, it makes them feel bad. And then it makes them want to go into monies that should be for other things that are more pressing to purchase an item for their partner. That's pressure. That's stress. And later on, it shows up in an argument. Unfortunately, it does for some folks. I really couldn't afford to pay for this, but you bought this for me, and I thought the agreement was that we were not buying one another gifts. Okay. Another thing that tends to show up with the gifts and the gift shaming and all the other negative stuff that comes along with some of this gift exchanging types of stuff is people are not always on point with the gifts. Let's say that, yes, I am buying this gift because I care about you. I love you. And yes, I do have some money to spend. But buying what one feels as opposed to buying what someone needs. Okay. That can be utter disappointment. And some people are so mindful of what they want or want to give, and not so much what a person really truly needs. And I get into this in another message, so I'm not going to go too deep with that. And another tactic that tends to show up with some of these people who are emotionally as well as physically abusive is the withdrawal of not only affection because they're disappointed, because maybe they didn't get what they wanted. Remember, abusive people are very selfish. But what they'll do is they'll use the gift to control you. You may be very excited, very happy that you receive this very expensive gift. But rest assured, an emotionally or physically abusive person is going to use that to have some leverage on you. Now, initially, folks don't see this. When you're first dating someone, you may not see it, but over time, it shows up. It shows up in little smart comments that they make It may show up in an argument. It may show up in them mentioning so many things related to the gift that they bought you. I bought this for you. Now, I'll take it back. It's kind of like what the parent does with the child. If the child doesn't behave, I'm going to take this back to the store. You keep it up. Well, you've got adults that treat adults like that. I spent over 10 grand for this. You act like you want to look at a man wrong, and I will take this back. Listen, I spent 3 months' salary buying this item for you, okay? To show you how much I love you. The least you can do is go in the kitchen and fix my plate, okay? It's unfortunate. These people exist. There's people right now that's walking, towing the line on pins and needles, walking on eggshells because he spent all that money on that vehicle for me. Oh, the least I can do is make sure that I'm not going to give him any grief. Oh, and they are practically slaves for their partner now. Some people, they want to secure a spot in your life. That's why they put out a lot of money on some items, because they know that at some point you're going to need something, and then they can easily say, well, you do remember when I bought such and such. And what are you going to say? Oh, yeah, that's right. I should have never parted my lips to ask them for anything, because they did help me with this and help me with that. And I should never, ever ask for anything ever in this life, not even for them to go and bring a towel to me if I forget my towel in the bathroom. It's sad that situations are set up like this with people who abuse and use, but they're out here. It's not always a happy time for folks. We have to be empathetic, sympathetic when we're around people who we can see the stress on their face. We can see they're going through much. Yes, it's a beautiful thing, and everybody knows so-and-so got a new car, and everybody knows that this one got all these beautiful rings, and somebody else got a new wardrobe. And I mean, these are lavish gifts. And then we also know there are those who receive very cheap gifts, very thoughtless gifts, very disrespectful and downright evil gifts. Okay? And on both sides, these individuals need prayer. Sometimes we ask, Lord, why is it that these people got to go through like this? And as I've said in past audio, sometimes people are going to be under trials. They're going to say that they trust in the Lord, and they are going to say that they believe in God. And God says, okay, so you want to take these holidays and you say that they're about me, right? Well, if they're about me, I don't see me in it. You see? So a lot of folks, they reap what they sow. They talk a lot about Jesus. They talk a lot about he was born and he saved us and he did this, that, and the other. And they even teach their children. But then upon closer inspection, right, we see nothing more than a lot of celebrating selves, celebrating God worship, celebrating greed, celebrating all things that are not righteous and true. We see manipulation that takes place with some of these people and their gift exchanges, putting people in a position to have to buy gifts when they cannot afford to buy gifts, manipulating people into doing things that they really don't want to do. How many times does a man or a woman have to argue or just yell and everything else just to communicate that he does not want to go over to the in-laws' house, or she doesn't want to spend another day with family members that don't like her? People just, I want to do what I want to do. Go by yourself. You enjoy holidays. You enjoy gift exchanges. You enjoy all this stuff. You like to play practical jokes or whatever. Why bring everybody else into it that is not into that sort of thing and then anger them? And then some people wonder why there's family fights. Some people literally get punched, kicked, shoved. Family sometimes the family, they have to take them out because they're so drunk. because they're depressed. They've got their own personal issues, and they show up at these family functions, and they're very, very mean-spirited. All sorts of stuff takes place, and it's not always like what folks would wish it to be from television shows and from talking to family, and from dealing with people who are reasonably sane. There's some folks that show up at these family functions and something's not right in their brains. It's a fact. And some people, they've been prayed for years and they never change. If anything, they get worse. So we just trust in the Lord, and we continue to believe that He's going to turn every situation around. Family division that has taken place as a result of gift shaming, gift exchanges, gift drama, you name it. We just pray in Jesus' name, Lord, that you just uplift these people who have been broken as a result, who've been embarrassed, who have been shamed, who feel like they have to do everything now that someone has spent so much money on them. I pray in Jesus' name that they will be released from these yokes of bondage. And I pray, Lord, that they will be able to stand strong and not feel like they need these folks so much to the point where they become slaves to them. I pray that if need be, that they'll have the courage to say, you can take this gift back. It's not worth all this aggravation. I pray in Jesus' name that those who feel led not to celebrate holidays next year with difficult family members, that they will stick to their word and that they will not be persuaded into being caught up in more family stuff. I pray in Jesus' mighty name that your will be done, that your will be made manifest over their lives, and that they will continue to seek you and seek how they are to celebrate you and not man or woman or children. I pray in Jesus' mighty name, for love, for peace, for happiness as we go into the new year. To God be the glory. Thank you as always for taking time out to listen. Please do check the description box for anything that might be of interest. You've been listening to YouTube NMEnterprise7. If you haven't given, we do welcome donations.